Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Be the Wolf. Today, I'm going to talk to you about authenticity and business, why it matters, how you can get it, and what specifically it will help you do better in your business, how it can help you take your business to the next level. And even if you're not a business owner, there's valuable information in this episode because you see, I believe that we are entering what I like to call the age of authenticity. And if you think about it, it makes sense, right? We have all this AI coming in, and it's really hard to determine what's real and what's not. And so we need to hone our antennas, if you will, for the frequency of what's real. And the reality is that we all have a different version of reality. We all have a different perspective. We see things from a different way. So how do we determine what's real? There's not really a way, but we can determine what feels good. And I'm not talking about like ice cream and cake and drinks and all of those things. I'm talking about what we feel good being around. And what we feel good being around is authentic. And there's some truth and some reality in things that are authentic. So they did an experiment, and if you follow Gary Brecka at all, you'll see this. You'll probably have seen it. They did this experiment where they were measuring the frequency of emotions that leave the human body, or any frequency that leaves the human body. It's called the Spain scale of emotion. And what they discovered is that the highest frequency that can leave the human body is the frequency of authenticity. And again, we're going to talk about how this affects your business, how this affects your life, and how it can help you get to the next level. But what you first need to understand is that the highest frequency you can emit is authenticity. And what that means, or at least what Gary Brecka says it means, is that the words you say are truthful and you believe what you're saying. So I want to dig a little bit deeper into that. What I think that really means is that you feel zero fear and zero doubt with what you are saying and what's coming out of your mouth. You're able to just be who you are in that moment, no matter what other people say or think. Like, I can tell you that I think the earth is round. And because I truly believe that, the words are truthful, and I believe what I'm saying, it comes off as authentic. I'm sure none of you in the back of your head were going like, oh no, she's a flat earther. I know it. I can see it. But now if I was trying to tell you that the earth is flat, you probably noticed some inflections in my voice, a little weirdness in my face. You can see that the authenticity isn't there. So we are so perceptive that we pick up on this stuff without even being aware. And when we are authentic, it's just our truth. So even though everybody has a little bit different reality, you're being real. It's being real. So let's talk about why being authentic helps you in your business. And I'm going to tell you first and foremost, it'll also help you in your relationships. Being authentic makes other people feel safe around you. It makes them trust you. This is going to give you better sales, better employee performance, better relationships in your business and your personal relationships too. So when your actions authentically match what you say and do, you're being authentic. And I think we all know, we've all had the boss or the friend or the parent who is do what I say, not as I do. Well, that's inauthentic. When you are truly authentic, you are modeling the behavior that you want to see. And your behavior is consistent. It's not sporadic. A lot of people who grew up in chaos environments, their behavior is a little bit sporadic. And we'll get into that a little bit and how to avoid that in your life and avoid it in your business. But when you are authentic, it makes other people feel safe. Your actions automatically match what you do and what you say. So you are consistent. And this allows your employees to perform better because the bottom line is most people don't feel fully safe. And so if you are consistent, if you show up the same way day in and day out, you're not trying to put on a mask and prove who you are, your employees feel safe. They can trust that they know what you expect. They can trust how they need to show up, and they'll be able to do their best work. I know if you had a car barreling down the street at you and you were sitting at your desk in the middle of the street, I don't know why you would be, but just if that was the case and you saw a car coming, it'd be really hard to focus, wouldn't it? When you are not authentic and that is sort of your way of being, your employees and the people around you feel like a car is coming at them. They don't know what to expect. So they're in this prevent, fight, and flight mode all of the time. And like I said, if you're sitting at a desk and there's a car coming down the street at you, you're in the middle of the street sitting on that desk, it's really hard to focus and get some work done. So your employees will perform better. And of course, this trust extends to sales. So if you are selling, people need to be able to trust you. They don't want to give their money, especially if you have high ticket items. They don't want to give their money to people that they don't trust. Like even when you're shopping and you see a really great deal on something, you're like, oh, that's too good to be true. That feels inauthentic. You don't trust it. So you don't want to give your money over. So when you show up consistently and are truly authentic, meaning you believe what you say, and you are believing it without doubt. You're not worried about preventing anything, protection. You're just even keeled, as they say. People feel safe. They're comfortable giving you their money. And so obviously in this environment, your employees will perform better. Changing the environment, it means chaos. And nobody feels safe in chaos, and nobody works well in chaos. There is an exception though. Some people who really grew up in chaos, they thrive in chaos. They do well in chaos, but those are the only people that really do well in chaos. And oftentimes their whole way of looking at everything is about trying to prevent catastrophe. So that's only going to take you so far in business. It's going to have a limit and a cap. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So the good quality people who you really want to work with and the good quality people that you want to partner with are going to be much more attracted to you if you're moving from authenticity. And if you're moving from inauthenticity, you're going to leave opportunities on the table because you're closing the box of what's possible. Now, you're only able to be consistently authentic in your success zone. And I talk about that a lot, but if you want to dive deeper into that, you can listen to episode number 86. But your success zone is where you feel 100% safe to be who you are, no matter what you want to do and no matter what you think. And it also means no matter who's around you. That is really important. So that place where you feel safe to be who you are, do what you want to do, and think what you think, no matter who's around you. So most people, they get that safe space from their environment. Remember, I said your employees and your customers, they want to feel safe with you. And that's because most people don't feel safe all of the time. So they surround themselves with like-minded people and do things so that they can feel safe from their outside environment. If I'm around people who think the same way as me all of the time, then I feel safe to be myself. But the moment somebody comes in who thinks differently, maybe they have completely opposite political views, I no longer feel safe to be myself. That is not being in your success zone. Your success zone, which is essentially the amount of success you can hold in your life and won't be shaken if somebody comes along and shakes you up, is delegated by how safe you feel all of the time. It doesn't matter who's around you. So, like I said, a lot of people, they get that safe space from their outside environment. They're afraid to leave jobs because they don't know what's out there. It's better to stay with the hell you know, as they say, than to risk what's out there. And this is because most people, again, they don't feel safe. So anything you can do that makes people feel safe is going to improve employee performance and improve sales. The next place where I want to talk about how authenticity helps your business grow, helps you do well in your business, is better hiring and effective delegation. Now, a lot of people out there, business gurus, and a lot of the really successful people say one of the secrets to great success is delegation. And yes, this is true to a degree. There is a piece that they never tell you, and this is important. You can delegate all the stuff you don't like to do, delegate all the stuff that's not your strengths. And ideally, on paper, that seems really great. I'm going to have somebody else do all of this shit that I don't want to do and that I'm not good at. And that's a great business model, except if you have resistance to doing those things. There's a difference between delegating when you really don't want to do it versus delegating because it's a smart move. So if you have resistance to doing a task, it means that somewhere underneath it, you have some insecurity. And that insecurity registers as an inauthenticity, because what you're doing is you're trying to delegate so that you don't have to do the task rather than getting the task done. And that's a subtle difference, that not wanting to do the task is the reason versus getting the task done being the reason. And so a lot of entrepreneurs, as soon as they make enough money, they're trying to hire out all the stuff that they're no good at, all the stuff that they don't like doing. And the bottom line is they don't like doing it because it creates some insecurity. It creates a feeling inside of them that they don't like. Obviously, if they created a feeling that they liked, they would like doing it. There are things that you're not good at, but you like doing. And that's perfectly great. The key in business is for you to get to that place where you don't mind doing the things. They may never be your favorite, but you need to feel neutral about it. And when you feel neutral about it, then you can delegate it. Because if you do not feel neutral about a task that you're delegating, you're building your business on a house of cards. And here's what I mean by that. So you're going to hire somebody because they're going to do the task and they're going to hopefully do it better than you. But when you're interviewing and when you're choosing that person, and right, this part is up to you, you're choosing the person you hire. So ultimately, the results are on you. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people will shirk responsibility. Well, they keep screwing up. They keep screwing up. You're the one that hired them. So ultimately, it's your screw up. So here's the thing. Like attracts like. And like, it feels good. Remember, we talked about that spleen, emotion. Here's some other sciencey stuff. So when two things have the same frequency and they come together, that wavelength connects and multiplies. So you get this spark. It's like chemistry. When two people are operating at the same frequency and their wavelengths come together and then they come together and they expand, you feel that spark. So you are obviously going to hire people that you feel a spark with. But if you are hiring them because you have resistance to doing the task, you're coming in with a certain energy, a certain frequency, if you will. And that frequency is about what can you get from them so that you don't have to do it. So you're trying to get something from them. And ultimately, you want to hire employees that are going to give and help you create and help you build. You don't want employees that are only there for what they can get from you, right? So if you're hiring those tasks out because you have resistance, you're coming in it with what can I get energy, which means you are going to click and have chemistry with other people who have what can I get energy. But if you remove that resistance, then you're coming to the table with authenticity. You're like, well, I'm not the greatest at this. And it's smart for somebody else who's better than me to do this. And so I really want to create and focus on this bigger picture. So your energy is authentically about what you're trying to build and what you're trying to create. And so who are you going to have chemistry with? Of course, you're going to have chemistry with the people who also want to help you build and create instead of the people who are just looking what they can get from you. People who look for what they can get from you are only going to do whatever it takes to make sure that they're safe. They're never going to move beyond that place of building and expansion. They're only going to, it's like a glass ceiling for the possibility. So back when I was talking about how some people thrive in chaos, it's that same thing. People who thrive in chaos, they're looking to get to that place of, quote, safety, but they can't get beyond it. It's like a ceiling that takes quite a bit, actually, to flip. When you flip it, you will have flipped the employee mindset, which we'll talk about a little later. And I talk about sometimes. So you'll hear bits and pieces throughout episodes. And one of these days, I'll do a full episode on the employee mindset. And you can get all the juice and understand it. But again, going back to when you're trying to build and create a vision and make stuff happen, you've got to come at it with authenticity. And here's the thing, most people have no idea that they're being inauthentic when they're hiring, when they're looking for someone to hire, because they're not in tune enough with what's going on within them to realize that they're trying to hire because they're resisting the task. And obviously, you're the entrepreneur, you're the head honcho. There's a lot on your plate. You do not need to be doing every single little thing. In fact, that is too much. But you do need to remove the resistance to doing the thing. Because if everybody left, say all your employees left, or your whole business collapsed, and you had to start from scratch, but you had no resources, you have the resources within you. And if you don't have resistance to doing the things, you will get them done. A lot of entrepreneurs, they hire too soon because they really want to stop doing those tasks. As soon as they get a little bit of money coming in, they start hiring. And again, they hire people with that that what can I get mindset that only can go up to whatever it takes to make sure that they're safe and they can't go beyond that. And so they create these businesses that never go anywhere. So you don't want to be that person. You don't have to do all of the tasks, but you need to remove the resistance to doing the tasks so you can authentically talk about what you want to create and build when you're interviewing and hiring new prospects so that you can have that creative, energetic spark with like-minded person so that you can have great employees. So those people out there, there's no talent out there. There's no good people to hire. This is part of the problem. So I talked a little bit about employee mindset, and that employee mindset is ultimately you're looking for something outside of you to fill the needs because you think you're not enough or you think you're lacking what you need consistently to get it for yourself. Again, so you're trying to get something to fill up a hole that you think you have. So, and you're trying to get it from the outside. So whether you're getting it from your employees, whether you're getting it from a piece of cake, whether you're getting it from a second job, you're trying to get something outside of you that you think you're missing what you need to fill it. And again, the test in that is if you have resistance. So you've got to be willing to do it even if you're horrible at it and be okay with it and be okay with sucking and being okay if everybody sees that you suck at it. So neutralizing the task will make you more authentic. It'll help you focus on what you want to build and stop hiding your weaknesses. When you're hiring people to fill those gaps of what you think you're weak at, it creates it never fills the gap because you still think you're weak at it. And even if you're not great at it, if you can sit down and do it and have no resistance to sitting down and doing it, even if it takes you longer than most people, even if you have to learn a whole bunch of stuff to do it, when you remove that resistance, then the gap isn't there within you. And then you're just hiring for maximum efficiency. Okay, so the third thing that I really want to talk about when it comes to how authenticity will really help move and drive your business forward is about meeting your goals and creating your vision. Now, when you are moving from authenticity, you're thinking about what you're creating, not what you're trying to prevent. This is basically like the abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset. What will you gain? What will you create? And this requires imagination. You can't be in a state of stress and access your imagination. When you are in a state of stress, when you're in a state of stress, you can only access what you already know. You can't access your imagination. So to move from an abundance mindset in a prosperity mindset, you have to access your imagination. Scarcity is about what you will lose. Abundance is about what you can create, or prosperity. I like to use prosperity because a lot of times people don't realize that they do already have abundance, an abundance of lack maybe, or abundance of what they don't want. But I like to think of prosperity because prosperity is that place where you're growing and thriving above neutral, above that safety line. So again, prosperity is about what you can create versus scarcity is about what you will lose or what you don't have. That's like that prevent and protect mindset. And so the thing is, Kyle Cease said this, and I really like it. He said that people are worried about what they can lose because they can see it. It's tangible. You already have it. So what you lose is a tangible thing. What you gain is intangible. Again, you need your imagination to access that. And you can only do that when you're in an authentic state. Because when you're being not authentic, you're worried about something outside of you being a threat. You don't feel safe, essentially. And if you don't feel safe, again, how are your employees or your sales prospects going to feel safe? So being in that place of what are people like worried about what people will see, that's inauthentic. And worried about what they might not like or what they like and trying to calibrate for that, that's being inauthentic. It's moving from that scarcity mindset. You're worried about what you will lose, even though you might not realize that the deeper levels, you're worried about losing safety, you're worried about losing friendship, you're worried about losing customers. So you think you need to be perceived in a certain way. This is inauthentic. And we know this about authenticity, but you can only be truly authentic, like I said before, in your success zone. When you're outside of your success zone, you're in that scarcity mindset. You're worried about what you need to prevent from happening. You're worried about what you're going to lose. And the thing is, you'll never reach your goals when you're in that place. The reason you'll never reach your goals is because the metrics will always be changing. The outside world is always changing. It is never consistent. So trying to prevent bad things from happening is always going to be a moving target. And when the target is moving, you're never going to create what you want. A lot of entrepreneurs have shiny object syndrome. I used to have it. This is the best way to get clients. Oh, I need to do that. So you start doing that, and you're not quite getting the results that you want yet. So then all of a sudden you see something else. Oh, maybe I need to do this program, and this is how I'll get the clients. And God, all the advertising and targeted advertising hitting all your worries is not helping. So you're bouncing from thing to thing. And you're not focused at all on what you're trying to create. You're trying to prevent going broke. And being broke is a moving target. But if you stay focused on what you create, what you're trying to create, stay focused on the vision, the target is clear. It's right there. You can see it. And you can stay focused on it only when you're in your authenticity, only when you're in your success zone. The minute you get out of your success zone, you're in a state of stress, and that puts you in that prevent moving target mode. And there are times when that state of stress and working from that prevent mode is okay. And that's when the situation right now is absolute danger, because in that moment, the target is very clear. It's get to safety. And as soon as you get there, you can get out of it. You'll see animals. The cheetah runs after the antelope, and they run and they run and they run. They get away and they get to maybe a little lake or something, a watering hole, and then you'll see them shake it off. And that is shaking off that excess stress so that they can be present again in their success zone. So when you have those high stress moments, you've got to shake off the stress somehow so that you can get back to that place of authenticity and that place of your success zone so that you can move focused towards what it is that you're trying to create. Does that make sense, everybody? Say, yes, of course it makes sense, Janaea. You said it 3 times. Now, the other piece of it is when you're in that state of stress, you can only access what you know. And I talked about this with the imagination. I like to repeat these things because when you hear them a few times, the message lands without you having to come back and listen to it over and over and over again. But when you are in a state of authenticity, which means you're feeling calm, you're not concerned about who you are, what you're doing, what you're thinking, you're not worried about what other people are going to think about it, you can access your imagination. And that your imagination is the gateway to your possibilities for your business. And when you're in a state of stress, you cannot access the imagination. And this goes for your employees. If you're a scattered boss, if you're a scattered leader, the target's always moving. They don't know how to be safe and they can't access their imagination. They can't help you build. They can just do the day-to-day like stuff that's already set up, the systems that a trained monkey can do. And if you're really trying to build a business and create a vision, a bunch of trained monkeys are not going to help you do that. So to create something new, you have to access your creativity, your imagination. You must be out of prevent mode. And you can only do that when you feel 100% safe to be who you are and trust your ideas and your thoughts. And that comes from authenticity. If you already know if that state of stress was or state of inauthenticity or stress, whatever you want to call it, because it's all similar frequency, if that were going to get you what you want, you'd already have it, period. If a state of inauthenticity were going to get you what you want, you'd already have it. If you don't have it, authenticity is one of the things that you need to figure out how to do. That means expanding your success zone. If your success zone is really small, you're going to only be able to create that amount of success. Your life and success is going to be equal to that. But if your success zone is really big, you'll be able to create a life and business that's equal to that. It's the place where it's stable, because anything outside that success zone, you're moving into that prevent mode and you can only access what you already know, which got you that life. So the boundaries of your success zone, they are the boundaries of your success in business that you can hold and maintain. They're the boundaries of your authenticity. And so to really up-level your business, to get the better sales, the better employee performance, the better hiring, the effective delegation, and increase the odds of meeting those goals and creating your vision, you have to increase the success zone, increase the authenticity, and be able to make people feel safe around you. And when you do all of that, you can access the imagination and the creativity that helps you build a business that you love. Okay, now that I've gone on a really long rant, I want to let you know that I do have a free guide for you that will help you. If you can master the 3 secrets in this guide, it will help you expand your success zone. It will help you increase your authenticity. And once you put in your email to get that, you'll also get instant access to a video on how specifically to increase your success zone. So you get the one guide, the 3 secrets, and you get instant access to another free thing as well. So you can grab that at BeTheWolfGift.com. Open up your browsers, do it now. You'll want to grab it because it's got really helpful information that will help you expand your success zone and increase your authenticity so you can get the better sales, the better employee performance, better hiring and effective delegation, and increase the odds of meeting your goals and creating that vision that you so desire to create, the reason you got into business in the first place. All right, everybody, remember, BeTheWolfGift.com. And remember, of course, that when you unleash the power of you, this is what I'm talking about. The increasing of your authenticity is a big part of unleashing the power of you, and humanity will evolve. We'll see you next time on Be the Wolf. Bye, everyone.